Hey guys, so a lot of you should know by now that I served in the United States Army. I retired, served over 22 years. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to meet different people and, you know, got to meet the generals as well. Get to meet a general whether they have an appointment or an engagement or receiving a letter or some sort of recognition. Met the general. Now, before you meet the general or before the general comes in for an appointment in your area, they have general aides. Okay, so between the general secretary and the general aide, which is a person who escorts the general everywhere and make sure everything is already set up, you know, his agenda, his itinerary, everything is in place. The general aide is just what it is. They work directly for the general to make sure everything goes well, is in order for the general. So before you meet the general, you're going to come into contact with the secretary who's going to be making the phone calls and or the general aide, right? So the general's aide comes in. What I have found throughout my career, and not all the time now, not all the time, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about the times that I've met the general's aide or the general secretary, spoken to them. But sticking more to the general aide, I found that the general aide was normally very demanding, snarky, snide, rude, okay? And they carried this type of an attitude and disposition that was completely opposite of the general. So you meet the general, he's down to earth, he's nice, he's completely different and want to just sit and talk to you. Sometimes he tell the general aide to go away because he just wants to do stuff like a regular person and sit and talk to you, right? But the general aide at the beginning gives you a completely different picture, or the secretary will give you a completely different picture. Now, the secretary at times, but not too much because they deal with so many different people. They can't get too crazy, but they have their ways as well. Some of them. Guys, and we also have this, I say, sometimes in church, you have a pastor, very nice, down to earth individual, but guess what? Their entourage, if you want to call them that, or let's say what they call armor bearers, are completely different. A lot of times they do these little things when they're not around, right? They can have a nasty attitude. You find out, they blocking everybody, and their spirit and their attitude is so different from that of that pastor, right? And of course, the pastor, those individuals, the general, they're not normally aware because they do that to the people that they're dealing with directly, right? And guys, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? A lot of times it's going to tell you the character of that person. You see, that person, that's the general's aide, or maybe works for the pastor or the leader. It shows that even though they have the position, they're in that position, they don't have the character for it. It also tells you that they will probably remain an aide because they're really not in a position to be a leader. You see, the leader is completely different from the aide. And you can see the type of leader that they will be based on how they're acting as an aide, right? So they're wielding the power, their mindset or their idea of power and authority. One of the things that we can say is to mistreat other people. But it is a poor representation of the general that they work for, right? So guys, I'm getting into this in closing and saying we have to be careful how we represent Christ. There are a lot of people that are not Christians because of we saying that we are ambassadors of Christ. How we're doing things, how we interact with people, how we treat one another, it speaks volumes. How we live, how we act, it speaks far greater volumes than you saying, I'm a Christian. It's very, very, very important. See, some people, they become Christians and they're walking in Christ, but you have your own motive, you have your own agenda. You understand that? And it shows that you haven't grown. You're not growing in Christ. You see Christianity as some sort of a suit or a something that gives you leverage to harm. If God blesses you and God gives you things, it gives you leverage to wield and to do wrong to people, right? So it means that there's some things in you that you still need to work out. You still need to grow. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video here by saying this. Let us ensure that we are walking in the word that says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. All right? Peace out.